And we'll start like this. Hello everybody, it is me, Darcy. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the Unnamed Podcast where I sit here with this guy. You might know him as Kris, and we talk rubbish for a time. And before we actually go any further, let me just quickly move this way just a little bit. There we go. Right? Much better. Yes, this is the podcast where we sit here for a time, speaking rubbish or whatever else comes to my goddamn mind. If you stay to the end of this podcast, you might see some of that.
Yes.
Now, as we often do, let's jump into some channel news. Kris, what's been going on with the channel this week?
Kris, on Monday, we did.
Monday's a figment of your imagination.
Oh my god. I need to leave to think about this. No,
You'll leave on your own time. We did do Helldivers. Helldivers did, in fact, part 1 of 2 came out on Monday. Swaggy orange don't stain.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's true. You look at the end of that, Kris covered in crap. Me, pristine.
I don't want to call it crap.
Covered in crap.
I want to call it blood and guts of insects.
What are the guts?
No.
Intestines.
No.
What is in intestines? Crap.
No.
Covered in crap.
Well, I feel like when
You're
I
covered in
did
crap.
that and shot him in the head, it was more the brain matter that flew at me, and
What did your dad
the
always
crap
say
evacuated
about?
out the back.
What did your dad always say about insects that die? What's the last thing that goes through their head? Their butt.
Well, when I'm fucking shooting them, it's a different thing.
Anyway.
But yes, no, that's true. Because you're talking about a windshield in that one. We didn't have a fucking windshield, now did we?
Maybe guns are the windshields of Helldivers. You think that?
It still doesn't make sense because there was logic to the other one. The other one's it's flying into a windscreen, so it's naturally going to go that way.
So Helldivers came out Monday, and I have made a few shorts from that will be coming out during the rest of the week. Why didn't they start coming out yesterday, you may ask?
You got lazy.
Because I was busy. I was doing other stuff. I'm busy man, I got stuff I got to do.
Or lazy.
I had to go to the gym.
And then laziness.
Oh no, I then bed because it was like 1 o'clock.
Wow.
And I'd been editing film in the morning, in the daytime, in the afternoon.
Because you didn't wake up in the morning.
I was up in the morning,
Oh.
actually. Thank you very much.
Shit.
I got out of bed at 11:45. Still the morning.
Semantics.
It's not semantics. It's technicality.
Fine.
Helldivers came out on Monday.
It indeed did.
What came out on Wednesday, Kris? Oh, actually, is there anything about Helldivers that you wanted to be specific about? Like the fact that you died to me multiple times and my giant skyfire?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I'm really good.
You and your fucking close air support. You
You
weren't calling it close air support in this one, but that's effectively what
danger
it was.
close.
Danger close, that was it. A fucking danger close.
Fun fact, I actually did say danger close in the... I was calling it close air support, but the first time I shot, I said danger close.
Oh, okay. I didn't actually pay attention to that.
Yeah.
So yes, danger close. That was interesting. At least one of them was deserved.
Oh yeah, definitely one of them was deserved.
Yeah.
No, it was a really fun...
Actually, no, two of them. Two of them were deserved.
It was a really fun video to film.
It was.
And there's some really good points in that. Not all of them are going to be in the shorts, because I've literally made 5 or 6 shorts.
Yeah.
But I also forgot about some of the elements that were quite funny. Like when I accidentally called in a drop pod directly on top of myself and just stood there waiting for it.
Yeah, any minute.
I'm sitting there going, resupply, this is going to be awesome.
Well, you did get resupplied.
Yeah, it turns out that was more for you than me.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, that was a very good, fun video. And the second one is actually a little bit more insane than the first one, which seems hard to believe. But because we had already been playing together for about an hour at that point, all pretense just went out the window.
Oh, and the moment I started getting that headache, I it was gone too.
Yeah. So
It was at the end of it. I don't know if you ever saw it on your screen. There was multiple points where I was just stopped and I wasn't doing anything.
think so, but I also think at points like that, you were being swarmed, so I was just throwing stuff at you.
Yeah, no, as I said,
I think at one point I just threw like 7 grenades where you're standing.
I'm not surprised. No, there's 100% a few points where I just stopped because I was just in that much fucking pain. I'm just like, I can't even look at the screen right now. What the fuck's this?
Yeah. Good times.
So that last one was both a rough one, and yes, as I said, all pretense went out the window, and yes.
And then on Wednesday, of course, Kris, what came out on Wednesday?
It was Minecraft.
It wasn't Minecraft. The next part of the Minecraft.
Yes.
Which was filmed when I was incredibly ill.
Yes, indeed it was.
Super unwell at that time. And so, the beginning, I'm kind of just doing my own thing.
Yes.
And then at the end, I'm also just doing my own thing. And then there's a very dangerous part in the middle. Yeah, which I send myself right back to square one. Yeah. But you'll be happy to know that from this latest Minecraft, I've found a place to build a house.
Oh, finally.
Yeah.
You in the area near the area where we've started?
Yes.
Oh,
it's just around the corner, so I can now start spending some time doing that. I don't know where lava is anymore.
Did you just forget?
No, I used it, and then in a weird kind of only makes sense in Minecraft kind of fashion,
Yeah.
I accidentally destroyed the source block of lava in the lava because I picked it into my bucket and then fell into the lava and my bucket melted. Now, that doesn't really make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Because how can the bucket hold lava, but if you put the bucket into lava, then the bucket disappears?
No, that's a valid question.
But, in the way that all things are secular, the lava ended itself.
It did.
The lava erased itself from being able to be used to menace you again. In slightly different news, when I was editing, do you remember my nether tree? That we found in my giant ravine?
Oh, yeah.
So we've been like just like finding tiny little caves. Like, this is one of the beautiful things about the way I play Minecraft.
Yeah.
I've been finding these tiny little caves and like being like, oh yeah, we'll start mining here, and then like legitimately 100 blocks away from where we've set up base is just this massive giant ravine that's full of thousands of caves and resources, and probably a really good place to start trying to get stuff from.
Look, you make a valid point.
When I found my nether tree there in that ravine near the lake, that might also be the ocean. I didn't realize, because I never saw it at the time when I was playing, but when I was editing, I did. There's a broken nether portal there.
Oh.
So I'm very close to going to the nether, which is unlimited lava.
Oh, shit. Oh,
that's beautiful.
It's going to stop you from getting obsidian.
Oh, yeah. And I did, in fact, notice that you are trying to mine into my underground cave.
Was I trying to
from the quarry?
I don't believe I was trying to go into an underground cave.
You were. You went to the quarry, you started digging towards where my bed is located.
Mm-hmm.
Then you dug out near it, and then you put some dirt there and turned off all the lights and pretty much made it look like you weren't in there. Fun fact is, though, your dickery was met with just desserts almost instantly, because while you were doing that was while I was grabbing the lava. And so while you were in the quarry was where I started pouring the lava in on top of you.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's not what I was doing, though.
Yeah, well, you should watch that video, because it turns out we think very similarly.
My goal for what I was doing there was to dig enough space and turn all the lights out in the hopes that zombies would just spawn in there. So that when you tried to sleep, you couldn't.
Oh no, that's
because
what
they
zombie
would be
holes are
too
for.
close. Too close to the monsters.
No, that's just why you dig zombie holes, mate. What you do is you find a point right near their bed, right? Especially, then you just dig a 3 deep hole, and then you just lure a zombie into it, and then you just put a block over the top.
Oh shit! Yeah, fair point.
Yeah, I'm very good at zombie holes.
Well, yeah, okay, fair enough. I wasn't gonna go.
Just ask Jordan. Except I was not making zombie holes at Jordan's base as much as I was making zombie pits. I'd get like 4 zombies and in like a giant like 5x4 kind of thing, and then just cover it all. And then they'd be digging later and be like, "What? I fell into a hole. Oh god!" It was like, and I'm like, classic trap.
Classic zombie hole. Yeah.
Well, you guys never seen a pitfall trap before? What have you been doing? This is what happens when I build my house in 5 seconds.
Do it true. You're a menace.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and I still like. I think the funniest thing in Minecraft is I still haven't found a village, even though that has been my goal in every episode so far.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever travelled that far away.
No, because I start traveling and I find something I like, and then I get distracted.
I'm aware.
Or
Because it was immediate, Kris, come over, look at this, come over, look at this. Now, fucking fine.
then-
Except, if you noticed in the video when you were telling me to come have a look at this, I was also quite a ways underground.
Yes, I did notice that. But no, then so literally we also have found a jungle, and
True, yes.
and probably my favourite part of that whole episode is right towards the end.
Yeah.
When I come to try, I'm like, I'm going to come and save you, Kris. As well as try and get all of my stuff back because I died in a tree.
Yes, yeah.
And I go to my chest. I open my chest that's full of stuff. Like, there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah, yeah.
There's iron, there's all of this kind of stuff. I grab out a wooden sword that has 1 hit left, and I turn and start running.
Meanwhile, I had a sword.
Classic me. It's just like, I will take this. It's like
So
it's
that's
like in the movie
yeah.
where like they open up the weapons chest and someone's like, newspaper.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna bonk someone on the head with this.
What's that gonna do? Well, you're gonna get bonked.
They're gonna get bonked once. It's a highly ineffective weapon.
Exactly. But they're gonna have the shame of being bonked while they had an actual weapon.
There's also another whole point where I'm like super excited because I jump across this like cave system.
Yeah.
It's a cave system. It has like a 2-block gap. I jump across it because I'm being chased by this horde of enemies. And I'm like, make that jump. I turn around and they just go round because like right next to where I jumped was the end of it.
Okay.
It's
rough on your part.
It was. Again, a classic like little kid kind of thing where it's like, I've just done this really cool thing. What are you going to do about it? Like, scaling the fence, being like, yeah, climb that, and then they just like open the gate and come
That's
through,
right.
and you're like, oh shit.
It's like the whole start at the beginning of one of the Johnny English movies where the guy's just running away from him. Like parkour everywhere, and he's just like, open that gate, I'll use this ladder, I'll go up the elevator, and he's just climbing everywhere.
Yeah.
It's good.
That video is quite good. And other than that, I've just been editing videos all week, so there'll probably be some shorts from this episode of Minecraft. We do have to film the next episode of Minecraft in the coming days.
Yes.
I've edited the next Gears of War.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact about that, remember how I said in the videos, in the clips, there's no audio? Like their speaking doesn't come through?
Yeah.
But then we were listening to it and we could hear their speaking. We're like, oh, that seems like problem solved. Well, no, it's not problem solved. I have no idea why, but that audio track, only in the cinematics, doesn't activate.
What?
Yeah. So you have all the music, you have everything, you just can't hear what the fuck they're saying. But then the cinematic ends and it's like, yo, what's going on?
Because Because we could definitely hear them.
So that will probably be coming out next Monday.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend you guys, like, if you love the me and Kris dynamic, if you love just me being exasperated with this motherfucker, watch that episode.
Yeah.
Because
and if you enjoy watching me being the cause of that,
it's been like it's all edited down to be one episode. But what you have to understand is we're filming that under very trying circumstances. So to film about 1 hour of footage actually took us about 2 hours.
True.
With some large breaks in between there. And so there's one point where something happens and it looks like Kris almost instantly forgets what I've told him. But in reality, there was a little bit of gap. It doesn't make what he's done any better. It just is a little bit more explainable.
I don't remember what that was.
Yep, you wait.
I will be.
Other than that, on this, on the day that this comes out, I'll probably put out the next episode of Red Dead. It'll already be out by the time you're watching this, so that's the future or the past. The future and the past. The present.
Oh my god.
But no. In all honesty, I'm trying to kind of stick to one Minecraft a week coming out. So, the main episode will come out, and then the next 2 weeks we'll have the Darcy and Kris view. One that makes the whole editing process a lot easier, because when I do a Minecraft, which is generally a big heavy video full of lots of switching of positions, who are we looking at, Kris or Darcy, it means that I know that I then have another 2 videos, so that I can kind of go like, oh, well, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. We've also filmed the next Satisfactory.
We have.
I honestly think in the next episode, though, I'm going to have a look at everything that Kris has done, because in the one that we filmed, I've left Kris alone for a very long time, and we don't have Kris's view. So we don't really know how the base building's going. You only see me running around like a crazy person.
It is true, yes.
But there is some pretty nice things in that episode. So, I get some pretty good views.
That's good. I'll have to do better at hiding next time.
I don't think that's a good idea.
You sure?
100%, because what you didn't realize is, while I was walking around there, I was also just being like, maybe I just go kill Kris until he tells me where.
I'm aware of what the alternative was.
And
I do things knowing what the repercussion is.
Sometimes I don't think you do, though.
I knew the repercussion to that was me being killed.
Anyway. So that's coming along. I think also in the next episode, I'm going to upgrade my science base into a science base.
Oh, okay.
Actually make a little lab for me. As opposed to just having 2 things sitting in a patch of dirt.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then maybe spend a little bit of time helping clean up some stuff.
As I make more of a mess.
Well, yeah. The problem is I have to go out and do my exploring to do my science.
Yes.
And it's like, that's very good. But at the same time, now I've run into the issue of being like, okay, now I need to get the stuff I found back to our base.
Yes.
And it's only 2 kilometers away. So I have no idea how that's going to work.
More materials.
Yeah, I think I have to try and set up a train system, which means we need to advance fast.
It's actually going to take a bit to advance fast, though.
I know, and that's why I think the next episode is going to be a lot of me helping you. Or me saying that I'm going to help you, then getting distracted, then going off and doing science.
Yeah, no, I'm aware. Because advancing fast in that is difficult because we have to do stuff with the sky elevator, which we haven't built yet.
Yeah, but we're in the desert, so lots of space.
Yeah, but still, there's a lot of space there, but there's a lot to do to get that.
Yeah, also
we also have to start sending stuff up that.
Yeah, and I have to find a coal source and an oil source so that we can actually use them for our power.
Yes, because that's going to be a lot better than what we've currently got. Having said that, I know...
Oh, I know where coal is.
And I know where oil came from.
Finding the locust.
Fuck, yeah. The other one
Classic
was...
Gears of War joke.
The other one was...
Oh, I know where both of them are. It's
the oil we got from pretty much close to the desert anyway. Well, actually, no, it was in the desert. It was just at the edge of the desert. So it's not that
the oil should be pretty easy.
So it actually should be closer than it was before.
Yes, but the other side of things is that everything else is going to be further than it is before. So we're probably going to have to end up like
not necessarily.
This kind of sounds crazy to me, but I think we're going to end up doing what we did in our first ever playthrough of Satisfactory. Yeah, with this one as well, where we make a giant power supply at the coal and then just ship it to our base via cables.
Yes, because that's actually probably going to be better with using the oil.
Yeah.
Keeping the oil where it is.
Well, the oil we can run straight back to our base because it should be a shorter run.
True.
But with the coal, we either travel the coal through spider-infested caves or travel a cord through spider-infested caves. And a cord's easier.
Because we know where a decent amount of coal is. It's not hard.
Because we can literally do what we did last time and literally build a giant power plant there.
And just use the exact same spot.
And then just use, yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
As much as, like, I actually think we kind of did figure that out really well as how to get that power working.
Because honestly, if we were going to transport the coal again, it's going to be the same situation. I was going to build up, have it sitting on top again.
It just makes more sense to transfer power than it does to transfer resources.
Yeah.
But that's also where I'm sitting with what I've got to do.
The problem is we do also need coal for other stuff. So we will have to transport some. We
do, but again, we could probably do that with trains once we get to a certain point.
True.
Anyway, there's a whole lot for us to do in Satisfactory, and that's kind of the part of the game that we love and why it is one of my favorite games because it's so much just like problem solving, and your first thing is always this will do.
Yeah.
But then because I'm me, like Kris would leave things at this will do, and move on to the next thing.
I would actually start to make it a bit more organized.
Try and make it.
I keep it a little bit organized to begin with. But it's one of those things that it makes sense to me, but not necessarily you.
I'm not going to lie to you. Like, Kris does a lot of the let's fix... I'll make this stuff faster, but I don't care what it looks like. Whereas I'm like, no, I want it moving fast and looking nice. Yeah. So he'll do something and then like...
Well, see,
in the last game we played, it was like 2 months later, I was coming in and being like, okay, now if I just... fix this part and put this over here, and then I'd have like lines running.
Yeah, because the problem is it's like to get stuff moving fast, but to also make it look good and everything like that.
There's a lot.
We need the resources that we're using to make something else fast.
Oh yeah.
So we can't make that fast. So it still puts a halt to the process. So it's a thing of like, do we want to make this part faster so we can advance quicker? Or do we want to make it look neat and push that to the back burner? And as you just said, you want to advance faster, so we kind of have to push that to the back burner.
Yeah.
Or I will at the very least.
Well, to say, and that's the beautiful thing about the two of us. You push us forwards, and I make sure everything is neat, and often make sure that our systems can upkeep with the speed at which we're traveling. Because there was, especially last time we played, there was a few points where I came in and I was like, okay, let me make this change. And I made like 6 or 7 changes so that we would have things moving in the right order because we were having these massive resource stoppages.
It's true, we were. But they
weren't my most elegant solutions, I will say that though.
I'm aware, but there was also other issues in that as well.
Oh, and also I have a tendency to build fun things for the sake of them being fun.
True.
So, not that we ever need them, like those giant jelly landers that I was building.
On my solo one that I did use that.
When? Why would you ever need it?
Well, see,
I'm pretty sure you
I
can
went to the
only
same
build them after you get jetpacks. And jetpacks are just so much more efficient.
No, because the jetpacks you've actually got to do research for.
Uh,
Whereas the jelly thing is just part of one of the things that I do.
right, so
what,
without my science-based madness, you didn't have a jetpack.
yes, because basically what I was trying to do was do both of their roles, and I was like, oh, fuck, that's going to have to wait.
I mean, Darcy does so much work.
So what I basically did is I went through and I'm just like, because I built my main area for doing things at the top of like the spire,
That was a mistake.
and then I just had the jelly landing pad to quickly get down.
Mistake. Anyway, yeah, so
Yeah.
there will be more Satisfactory. We do hope you're enjoying that video series
Yes.
because we love making it, even though sometimes it's a bit slow. I think Satisfactory will be one of those ones where we might have to do some episodes of just cleaning up. So, like,
Yeah.
make a full release episode where we're doing stuff and, like, pushing forwards, and then go a little bit longer in just like, okay, now in this part, we're not making anything new, we're just tidying up what we've got.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up channel news, apart from saying that we are now officially at 99 subscribers.
Yes.
So it's now a race to see whether we make the full 100 before we make 100 podcasts or
True.
not.
Yeah.
But that 100 podcast is getting very close.
We're still, 9 weeks away?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's technically 8 weeks away. The 9th week will be the 100th podcast. This is episode 91.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So, time to crack out the straight razor and
Fuck. I
Take
don't
it
like
all.
it. No, that I don't like this.
I don't care if you like it or not. This happened.
Fuck.
Mustaches for days. Then you'll have it for like 2 weeks max.
Yeah, I know.
And I'll be like, if you really hate it, what you can do is
Just
once your stubble gets back,
Yeah.
like once you 3 days later, you can just shave it down to the length of the stubble.
That would get true.
But I wouldn't. I'd keep it.
Aware of what you do.
I'd let it be there until everything else catches up to it. Anyway, I think that just about wraps up channel news. No. I think that does us on channel news. I don't think there's anything else channel wise to add to that. So let's move on. And what I want to talk about to you first, Kris,
Yes.
is a little game. Maybe you've heard of it.
Small game?
Maybe you haven't.
Tiny one?
Yeah.
Slightly bigger than tiny?
Yeah. Just it's a little game.
It's a wee game?
Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you haven't. It's called GTA Online.
No, I never heard of it.
No, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Well, apparently there's been a change. Rockstar's made a change to GTA Online.
Okay.
A change that people have been after for a very long time.
Yes.
Being able to do stuff off your phone, like buy ammo and
Oh, yeah.
equipment and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. You know, resources that you just want to quickly buy on the fly.
Yeah.
It's now part of a phone app that you can just flick up your phone and do it on the fly.
Oh, there you go.
Well, yes, that's great, isn't it? That's what we
Yeah,
all want,
yeah,
to
of
make
course,
the
of course.
game a little bit more easy, so that you don't constantly have to be like, oh no, I've just run into Kris outside the casino and we had an epic gun war and now I'm all out of rockets.
True.
But unfortunately, it seems like that's going to be behind an $8 a month subscription.
Oh, fuck off.
Now, I get that $8 a month doesn't seem like a lot, but I
Right.
assume that's American dollars, so that puts it more like in the $16 range.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't seem like a lot, but why are we being asked to pay for something that just makes a game more accessible?
Yeah.
And why is it that we're being asked to pay for it on repeat? This is something that really
Yeah.
bugs me about everything that we currently have in the world, where it's like, they all want to be subscription services, because obviously that makes so much more sense than you buying something once. You buy it once and you have it, I don't make any more money.
Yeah.
Whereas a subscription service, you don't pay me as much up front, but you are constantly paying me money. Greed at its finest.
Well, yeah.
Could you imagine cars worked like that? people would think it's a great deal. In fact, cars do work like that.
I was going to say, of course they do. Hence the slow blink. My Rego just showed up today.
No. I'm actually talking more like where people just rent a car and then for a couple of years and then swap it out for the next car. So they don't never own a car, but they always have a car.
Fair enough.
But I was going to say, could you imagine if someone said to you, oh yeah, your TV, yeah, pay me $15 a month for it. You're paying them $15 a month. But now imagine the fact that they could just rock up any time and say, oh yeah, by the way, we're taking the TV back. You don't have to pay next month, but we're taking the TV. Because you don't own it anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why people think streaming is so good. Like, I'm someone who streams a little bit. I do.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. But when given the opportunity, I still prefer to own the physical media.
Yeah.
Like, I use Xbox Game Pass so much. So very much. But if there's a game that I really like, I buy it.
Yeah.
And even that's not actually that smart, because whilst it may disappear from Game Pass, and I still have access, if Xbox just suddenly say, I'm sorry, you don't have access to that game anymore.
You've now just got a disc with the
Not even the disc. Digital copies.
Oh yeah, if it's a digital copy, you just don't have access to the game with it.
If I have a disc, I technically should still be able to play the game. But
the way I've heard them talking about it is they're going to say no to it being on the console in general. So you won't even be able to put it in and play it.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
But, like, here's the thing, because I was talking to a friend of ours on the weekend, and he, at some point, lost his Xbox account.
Yeah.
And could just never get it back. So he's like, it's not a big deal, I lost a couple of games and stuff. But I was like, imagine if that happened to me.
Oh, there's a shit ton of games going.
Tens of thousands of dollars. And I'm like, what would Xbox do? Because I would say to them, I want my account back. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands. This is something that I've spent a lot of my money on. And what would they say? Oh, sorry, we can't help you. I'm like, then my only recourse is to sue the shit out of them.
100%.
To get my money back. Because if they're not going to provide the service that I have paid for, and with a lot of this stuff, I've bought the games.
Yeah.
I should own them. But they're like, oh no, if your account gets blocked, it's like, well, what are your protections for, because you've heard horror stories, right?
Yeah, of course I have.
Hackers getting access to an account, changing where it is, and then you being the one that's blocked out of it.
Yeah.
And they just go on their merry way. And then 10 years later, Xbox are like, oh yeah, it turns out your account was hacked. Whoops. And it's like, but if that were to happen to my account, I would be fucking fuming.
Of course you would.
Because I'm like, there, as I said, there's tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff on there.
Let's face it, that's enough for them to be like, oh, it did get hacked. You now have access to it again. It's like, well, I don't really care.
I want my games.
I want my games back, and then two, you know what? Give me my money back, because with that type of thing, because of how much you've lost, that's a situation where a lot of people will stop using that system.
Oh, absolutely.
So legitimately, one, they lose a customer, and two, it's like, oh, you've got access to your account again. Well, your games are still on your account. It's like, cool, give me my money back. I'm not using this anymore.
Well, my thing is, like, as long as I have access to my account, I don't really care.
I'm saying in the situation of they give you access 10 years later.
If I ever lost access to my account, and they were like, oh no, sorry, we can't help you gain access back to your account, XYZ reason, I would be fucking furious.
Yeah.
And that's just with that one side of things. But now I want to put my anger, my righteous anger, at streaming services in general. Because let me tell you, I am so sick and tired of people being like, oh, but you can just stream that, right? When I'm like, oh, I'm looking to buy this. And they're like, oh, you could just stream it. And I'm like, no, because I don't want to just stream it. I want to own it.
Yeah.
I want to be the one that sits there and says, today I want to watch this. And then not have to go to a streaming site and it goes, oh, sorry, you don't have internet today, so no connection for you. Or, sorry, we're no longer letting you watch this show, or sorry, we do have it, but you're in the wrong place to watch it.
And I fucking hate that, especially when we have the ability to buy the physical copy, and then it's like, oh, you live in Australia, you're not allowed to watch it. It's like, oh, but I can go to a store and buy this.
Yep.
Fuck you.
Here's my other issue, and it's probably the one that has infuriated me the most about all of these services at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So there's a movie I want to watch called The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that I was told never came out in cinemas in Australia.
Yep.
And I was really upset about that because I wanted to go watch it in cinemas. But whatever. Like, I was just going to be like, hey lads, this is actually a movie worth us going and seeing in cinemas. Let's go see it.
Yeah.
Never came out. Okay. Rightio. That's fine. I can just stream it. Everywhere says Amazon's got it. Go on to Amazon. Sorry, not in your place. You've got to use Apple TV. I don't want to ever use Apple TV.
Neither do I. That's
I would
what stops me
rather-
from looking for things as well.
I would rather put razor blades in my mouth and then jump in a fucking tumble dryer than use Apple TV. Because if you don't know anything about Apple, they're a piece of shit. Don't come at me, people who own iPhones. You own an iPhone, you should know by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And it's like, oh, you've got to use Apple TV.
Well, actually, it was something I saw about that. With that, what you were saying, it's with people who own
razor
iPhones.
blades in a tumble dryer.
No, with people who own iPhones should know. I literally was watching something the other day where some guy was like, why did you buy an iPhone? It's like, oh, to have an iPhone. But not because of all of its stuff. It's like, no, I just wanted an iPhone. Oh, fair enough. And then he's basically saying, he's like, I've got an iPhone. Not, once again, not because it's better.
Brand.
Like,
It's a brand.
he's like, Android is better. Its cameras are better. Its system is better. Everything about it is better. I just have an iPhone because. But it's like, but one of the arguments that a lot of people give us from Apple is like, oh no, the camera is better in Apple. It's like, no. Snapchat is better because a lot of them just use Snapchat. Look how much better this is compared to the Android. It's like, okay, now bring up your actual camera and then show us the difference. At which point it flips the other way around because they've never optimized Snapchat for Android. But it's their biggest argument.
It doesn't
It's
really
fucking
bother me. My thing is, I don't like Apple because I really don't like their business practices.
It's true.
I don't like the fact that if you want your Apple product fixed, you have to back up everything because apparently to fix a broken screen, they need to wipe your entire phone.
You know, that's a ridiculous one. That is dumb.
It's not a ridiculous one. What you need to actually understand is they're not fixing your phone, they're giving you a different phone.
Yeah.
Probably someone else's phone that they've repaired that's the same colour. They take yours, send it to a factory, they replace the screen, they put that in a backlog and say, your phone was this colour, we wipe everything off it so you don't have to worry about your data going to anyone else, but we've wiped it and, oh look, this was your colour, this is a one we already have, send them that repaired one.
Yeah.
Because
it's how they can literally send it back so fast, and it's also sort of.
But as I've always said, like, I would prefer not to have to go through all of that crap to just get my phone screen replaced.
Yeah.
Especially considering I used to be able to go to a guy in a shopping centre who could do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like Apple. Because Apple have actually been leading this thing of pretty much, it's, I don't know how much you know about this thing called the right to repair.
Yeah, I do know a bit about
pretty much states, well, it's the same with cars, but it pretty much states you as the person who owns the thing get to choose how you want to fix the thing.
Yeah.
Should that be you want to go to the people that made it and pay their prices to have it fixed because they made it and they therefore should know how to fix it best?
Mm-hmm.
So you're willing to pay the exorbitant prices? Be like you having to go to Holden to get your car serviced because you choose to go to Holden. Or you could go to another company who has the know-how and can do it and they'll charge you this. Or you can go to Jerry down the road who likes to tinker with cars and he can have a go at fixing your car up.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the thing is, as the person who owns the piece of property, it's your choice. The company who made it shouldn't be able to tell you, no, you must come to us. Well, Apple are really the ones pushing hard on saying, like, no, only Apple can fix Apple devices.
Sony did it as well.
Lots of people.
Well,
lots of people have tried to do it.
Sony kind of did it. They did it more in the sense of if you got your screen repaired from someone who was not Sony authorized, if you were to drop your phone in water then and it was repaired by someone else, then they weren't going to cover that part of the warranty because, we can't guarantee that they sealed it correctly.
Yeah. But, you know, like, that's always been a thing, like warranties. And it's like, well, that's fine. If I take it to someone else to have it repaired, and you say, well, you've now had someone else, we're not going to honour the warranty, okay? I always kind of go like, oh, whatever, I don't care, because if I cared, if the warranty was still worth my damn, I would have had a warranty repaired.
It's true, yes.
So I either don't have a warranty on it anymore, or even with a warranty, what you're suggesting is ridiculous. And so I'm happy to wear the cost.
Yeah, because sometimes...
But anyway, the right to repair is pretty much this argument between manufacturers and consumers being like, no, but we're the only ones who can fix your stuff. And consumers being like, no, once I own it, you no longer get any say in what I do with it. It's my property. And companies, and the reason I bring it up is because it's very much like this streaming thing.
Yeah. A
company who makes a product then trying to tell you what you can and cannot do with that product once you have given them the money for that product.
Yeah.
And this is it's crazy and all over the world, but like, Apple are really bad at it. Ferrari are really bad at it.
Just about everyone is really bad at it. It's not even just on the repairing side of things, but on a lot of other sides as well. When
I say Ferrari really bad at it, if you buy a Ferrari, they like, if I bought a Ferrari, right, and then I wanted to sell it to someone, they'd be like, you must sell it to a Ferrari authorized second-hand seller.
Yes.
You can't just go and sell it to your next door neighbor. And I'd be like, but I want to sell it to my next door neighbor. And they'd be like, if you do that, you'll never buy a new Ferrari again. We're going to blacklist you.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, that's their prerogative. But also at the same time, it's not good business sense.
No, it's not.
But at the same time, if you're dealing with Ferraris, you're probably used to that world of
you would be.
Stupidity.
You 100% would be.
Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of my problem with where we're going as a world, and everyone being okay with like subscription service and all this is like, there will come a point where, and I hate to say it, like, there'll come a point probably in our lifetime where it'll be crazy to own things.
Yeah. But
at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and say it's crazy to own things. There'll be young people being like, oh, it's crazy to own things. And it'll be like, no, it's not. People used to own all of their own things, and we didn't let companies fucking tell us what we could and could not do with it.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine, like, buying a car, being like, oh, I've just bought a 4-wheel drive. And then, like, Toyota turn around and be like, oh, yeah, but you can't actually take it off-road. And you're being like, but that's the whole reason I bought it. And they're like, oh, yeah, but because of our contract that you signed when you bought the car, that you had to sign to buy the car, we get to tell you where you can and can't take it, and we don't want you taking it off-road because it might break it. And then we would have to repair it.
No, see, that's incorrect. It's not a might break it, it's a will break it. Most people who use a 4-wheel drive break their 4-wheel drives.
Well, no, that's most numpties who take 4-wheel drives. There are people who have 4-wheel drives and take their 4-wheel drives off the beaten track, but don't, like, go like, yeah, let's fucking fang it.
Well, true, yeah.
They just go like, oh, I want to go to this very nice thing, but it's on a rough piece of track, so I've got to have a car that can handle that track.
Yeah.
You know, we're not all numpties.
True.
But yes, there are a lot of numpties.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you, anyone who's ever bought a Land Cruiser, Land Rover
Yep.
isn't breaking that car.
Well, fair
Whereas
enough.
the person that buys the Nissan Patrol is.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Anyway, my point is like, yeah, could you imagine that? Like, companies being able to dictate to you what you do with the things you buy off them. And,
Yeah, no,
and
fuck
for
that.
a lot of us at the moment, we'd be like, no, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's where we're heading, and people are happily heading there. People are actually being like, oh, but this is really good. And it's like, no, it's not.
No.
Probably not have a billion tabs opened. Yeah. But I need those billion tabs. I've got all my stuff on them.
I'm aware of what's on those tabs. Not all of the tabs. I don't go through.
Mostly porn.
The tabs.
No. Never down here. It would be too messy. Then there's too many sharp things. And I'm a menace at the best of times.
Sharp thing.
You've literally seen me sit here and be like, I've stabbed myself.
Yes.
Could you imagine if I had my pants down around that kind of? No.
Yeah, wouldn't be great.
Would not be great. Anyway, moving right along. Yeah, so
Yeah.
long story short, if you're a fan of GTA, they're adding some stuff, but they're also adding a subscription on top of your other subscriptions.
Gotta love paywalls.
Gotta love 'em.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway,
Yes. So next.
there is something next, but I do have to pause the recording first. We are back.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the weekend, Kris.
Yeah.
This weekend was a little bit weird. Usually me and Kris don't spend the weekend together at all. But we are together in the same place. A.k.a. Rockhampton.
Yes.
But
But this weekend,
Kris
I wasn't.
went on an adventure this weekend. So, Kris, tell us about your weekend.
Well, on the weekend, well, actually on Friday,
On Friday.
I drove up to Mackay.
Very good.
Goddamn caravans.
Mm.
Now, we've discussed caravans at length on the channel.
I do hate them.
They are the worst.
They caused 2 accidents this weekend.
They did, and they were both north of here.
Mm.
Goddamn.
Why weren't you in one of them? Just a question.
Well, look, fair point. The thought was there.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, went up, had an appointment, for dental
Yep.
reasons. Yeah, that ain't happening.
Hmm.
At least not from there.
Monetary value.
Oh yeah, we're talking like $7,000, and that doesn't even cover the travel.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
because you
could-
have to go to Mackay.
No.
You have to go to Brisbane.
To go to Townsville.
What?
So I found out because he goes fly out to Mackay, but it turns out the stuff he does in Mackay is very much like what I went there to do, which was to check to see if they can do the implant.
Oh,
too.
okay.
And he said yes. Then he gave me the prices. His side of things was like 5,700 to do the 2 steps that he had.
Yep.
Except it goes like this. I've got to go to Townsville.
Yep.
They basically find the right spot to put it, cement the thing in.
Mhm.
Then I'm going to let it heal for like 3 months.
Oh, so you only got to go to Townsville twice.
Yeah. So go back, get the next part done, which then finishes it off total for that being the 5,700 plus travel and probably accommodation. Because for the first time I've got to do one in the morning, or part of it in the morning, then part of it in the afternoon. Whereas if I lived in Townsville, they'd be like, we'll do it today, and then just come back in 2 days or so.
Right.
But because I've got to travel, they would just do it in the same day.
Now, does that include anaesthetic?
That I think it always does, but it depends on how much they use.
I was going to say, because if it doesn't include anaesthetic, then you're just going to have to say, I'm tough. Do it.
Yeah. So that's where that went, and then that doesn't even include the crown that they put on after, which I can do here in town.
Oh, that's
Which is why that comes up to like $6,000 to $7,000.
plus accommodation,
Yes. Well, and travel.
plus a hammer,
Hammer would do it. Yeah.
anaesthetic.
Yeah. So yeah, decided. I'm at the very least not going to go through them to do it. I'm probably just not going to go for the implant. But outside of that,
you could just hold off for a little bit
I could.
until you're in a more financially stable position, and then do it.
Well, that's why I was thinking for the time being I could just go to like a denture. Like a clip-in
Exactly.
denture. It's a lot cheaper and it'll be fine for the time being.
Fucking $6, you can get vampire teeth.
Oh, fuck yeah, I could too. Actually, I do have some...
I am getting the denture.
Actually, I did
They're
get...
just fake vampire
I
teeth.
got a little...
Dentures.
I got a little kit a couple of years back for doing something for a dress-up party, and then it ended up showing up about a week after the thing.
Right.
Best thing was I gave it a week and a half to get here before the event. It was coming from Brisbane.
These were the old days.
Yeah, it was like 5 years ago.
More than that.
Was it?
Yeah. If it's what I'm thinking it was, and I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Oh, no, it would have been about 6 or 7 years ago.
Well, it would have been before I was back in town.
Yes.
That's over 8 years ago.
Is it 8 fucking years? God damn it.
I mean,
Okay.
I've technically been back in town for 7 years.
I can figure out when it was, but
Anyway.
either way, I've got those. I could do it.
No, yeah. So
So that's
that was Friday.
yeah, and then pretty much I just caught up with a mate while I was up there for Saturday and for about half a Sunday before driving back. At which point I saw one of the caravan accidents. Not much happened while not much happened while I was catching up with my mate. Just talked, played a couple games.
Any good games?
Not overly.
This is why we can't leave you alone ever.
Pretty much.
You left town and didn't even play good games.
As I said, it was more to catch up.
Wow.
And I couldn't get on to I was actually trying to catch up with another couple
Well,
people.
I was trying to catch
I
up with
couldn't
another
get on to
person,
that.
and they literally blocked me.
They could have.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't get on to them, so there was no catching up there.
That's unfortunate.
But yeah, no, as I'm driving back, I'm about about a third of the way back.
Yeah.
And then everything comes to a grinding halt. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I can sort of see something up ahead, but couldn't quite gather it. Got close. Caravan on its side, which lifted up.
Just how all caravans should be.
I know, right?
In a field,
Yeah.
burning.
So it was on its side. The car wasn't on its side, but it was. Look, let's face it. The front
It was
tires.
popping a wheelie.
Yeah, the front tires were just bare. No, it wasn't a wheelie because that's the other way.
No.
And the back tires. Back tires is the wheelie. Isn't it?
Wheelie is whenever you just up on your wheel.
Oh,
You can do a front wheelie as well.
Oh,
It's very dangerous and very hard because you're looking at the ground.
oh,
But is that any more dangerous than looking at the sky? No one really
I
knows.
must have been thinking of a different thing then. But either way, front wheels, only thing touching the
You were
ground.
thinking of Heelys. They're on your shoes, mate.
No, Fucking no. Either way, yeah, it was like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then I caught up with Dad when I got back, and I'm telling him about that, and he's like, "Oh, you mean the one with the bus?" I'm like, "What? No,
Man, I
What
think I
bus
saw
are you on
that
about?
bus one on the news, and that bus was fucked up.
Yeah. Still haven't heard what happened with that, but I think
I
it was
don't know what the
something.
caravan was made out of.
Yeah, I know, right?
Fucking TNT.
But apparently, the driver of the bus was fine.
It's dynamite.
But if you actually look at the side of the bus that it hit, it was the driver's side of the bus.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure how the driver was apparently minor injuries.
act of God, mate. Act
Yeah,
of
it
God.
would have been.
Either that,
But yeah.
or it's almost like they'd build the driver's seats in like a protective area when they design buses.
Well, true, yes.
But probably.
Having
the
said
first
that,
one.
that whole corner was mangled. So right where that protective area
Maybe
is.
he has like a fiberglass cockpit, like a F1 driver.
Well, maybe. Maybe.
This is my
Yeah.
F bus.
Because Dad and I were speculating, I'm like, well, it's probably what happened with the caravan that I saw was we went to go overtake, didn't realise they had enough time, and then tried to swerve back in.
Caravans should never overtake.
Oh, no, they should. But I saw, like, at least 4 doing it. And one...
What they should do is get put in a garage and then stay there forever.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so that's what happened. Dad and I were speculating that our thought process is the same thing was happening. They were trying to overtake and then realized they couldn't, and then the bus connected with the caravan.
Yeah, I just want to know what side of the road they would have been on. I want to know if they were heading to or fro.
That I'm not too sure on. We know they were both going in opposite directions, which is pretty obvious from the way they fucking ended. But
no, caravans, they're fucking
menaces. But it's one of those things, and Dad was saying, it's like, oh, it was probably the caravan. I'm like, yeah, because why would a bus with 33 people on it try to overtake?
Why would a bus with 33 people on it decide it hates caravans that much that one needs to kill it?
Exactly. You know? So yeah, no, because I haven't heard anything more on it yet.
Queensland roads, my friend.
I haven't heard much more on that. But that's how that went for me. How was your weekend?
What was my weekend? So you can tell from Kris's shit-eating grin that he's actually already heard the stories of my weekend. And it's in a very odd fucking way. I'm going to preface everything I say by kind of coming out at the start and saying, like, nothing that happened to me this weekend is overly bad. In fact, it's all incredibly good. It's just me being who I am very angry at everyone who's and they are using that as ammunition against me.
Yes.
Even though everything that happened to me this weekend was actually fucking good. So, we'll get started. Pretty much Friday, I got a message from some friends being like, oh, we have some friends up from Brisbane. We're going to show them around town. Would you like to join us? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Sounds good.
Of course, yeah.
They're like, we're going to the Irish pub. I was like, I can drink some Guinness. Fucking brilliant. I love Guinness. I actually do love Guinness. I drink a lot of it, and
still yet to have Guinness.
Let me tell you, it takes a while.
I'm away.
Like, when we were at the Irish pub, I literally probably spend a quarter of my time just waiting for my Guinnesses to be poured.
Yes, you do.
And so people are like, where have you been? I'm like, getting a drink. But you went and did that like 10 minutes ago. I bought a Guinness. Oh, that makes sense. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we go out, and I meet up with a bunch of their friends from back in their younger days. And, you know, we're just all having fun, and everyone's chilling, playing some pool, talking shit. Yeah. You know how it is.
The general thing.
And, anyway, I'm just talking to this one girl, and, you know, it's a Friday night, everyone's having fun, as you do.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, she's kind of like, oh, well, I'm gonna go, rah. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Hey, have a good night. And off she goes. And the rest of us stay at the pub drinking.
Oh, the kicker hasn't come yet. It's good.
Anyway, so then we leave the pub. And as we're walking from the pub to the next place we're going to be drinking, we're all just, again, messing around, and me being the big lad that I am, Grandmaster lad, if you will, I am the biggest lad. The master of all lads.
I don't know if I want to give you the title, though.
Big Chief Kahuna lad.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so I'm being a lad. And then, one of my friends is just like, oh, by the way, you know that girl you were talking to? I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. And she's like, yeah, no, she had to leave because she likes you. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. It's like, no, she has a boyfriend back home, so she left because of you. And I was like, oh, I actually feel really bad about that. Because I wasn't doing anything. I was just having conversations and just being Grandmeister lad.
Still not going with it.
Big kahuna lad. Anyway, so yeah, that happened on Friday night. Anyway, so we get invited. I also was invited by them to go to the zoo because they were going to go to the zoo the next day. I didn't go. Obviously, I was asleep. But
yeah, well, I think it's an excuse.
Shut up. But anyway, so that was, and so we went to the club. We were all hanging out at the club, and then we all went home, got kebabs and went home.
Yes.
That ends Friday night. Of course, being the fact that the group of friends is my group of friends, obviously by the next day, everyone knows about it. And,
well, except for me, I didn't.
Oh no, except for you
and Jordan. Jordan found out.
I know when Jordan found out, and I will discuss that as we move forward. Okay, so then Saturday rolls around, right? And we get invited to my friend's house for a barbecue, because we're all going to have a barbecue.
Yes.
And our other mate is like, oh, can you give me a lift to their place, blah, 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 this, that, all the rest. I'm like, yeah, no worries. I grab my beers, get my board games, the classic pack. 2 bags, 1 lad.
Yeah.
Bag of booze, bag of board games.
It's how you got to do it.
That's always how I do it. Anyway, so then, so that we go, and as we're driving there, he's giving me shit. He's like, okay, so you got to be on your best behavior. Because this other girl was staying with our friends. And he goes,
yes,
we're going to their house. There's nowhere she can run away from, so you've got to be on your best behavior. And I'm going like, fucking shut up. Shut the fuck up.
It's almost like it was almost a cornering situation. As you walked in that door, there was no... It's like, you could always escape. She couldn't.
Yeah, okay. So that's where we were. That's where we were on the ride there.
Yeah.
Then, and then we get there, we, bang the fridge. We all go outside and we're cooking the barbecue, having a chat, drinking beers. And, me being me and being an idiot, on Friday night, totally unaware of everything until everyone told me.
Of course, yes.
Now I am aware, and I'm like noticing the fact that we're kind of like, wherever I am, she's on the opposite side, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, whatever, this isn't a big deal. Rah, whatever. Barbecue's cooking, we're making jokes, making fun of Jordan and his the fact that he played clarinet.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Anyway, that he was bad at it and all this kind of stuff. We're all joking, laughing, and I'm like sitting there drinking my drink and I'm like, oh, I'm out of beer. I'll go get a beer from the fridge. So I walk in and she's in the kitchen and I'm in the kitchen and we're just in the kitchen together.
I reckon what happened was...
Shut up.
She noticed that you were about to run out of your beer and quickly went out there beforehand. So it would be a rendezvous.
Anyway, so I grab a beer and, because I am me, and, one of the things I always say is, even if I am trying to avoid you, I'll never be a dick to you and just be like, I'll always just kind of just be friendly, but, the far edge of friendly.
Well, yeah.
And be like, oh, how you doing, whatever. Anyway.
And you failed at that miserably.
Well, no, because we started talking in the kitchen, and so I ended up drinking half my beer talking, and then our friend came in and was like, "What are you doing?" And we were like, "Nothing. We're waiting for the food to cook." And then we went back outside.
Now you said that in a really suspicious way, right there.
Shut up. Anyway, okay, so that's happened. We've had food. Everyone's down there. We're all eating. We're all having a good time, drinking, whatever. We decide it's time to move down to the pub.
Of course, yes.
Because we always do. It's just what happens. So we go to the pub, get a few more drinks. Everything's going fucking fantastic.
Just skip along while going?
No.
Not. You gotta link arms and skip that all the way.
Anyway, so we're at the pub, bro, chatting, having a conversation. Everyone's talking, everyone's giving everyone shit. And then it's like, oh, we're going to the club.
Yes.
So we go to the club. And we missed the free get-in time by about 10 minutes.
It's always the case.
It's always the case. Especially when you're going anywhere with girls and they've got to go get changed and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, we missed that. But we go in anyway and we play some pool downstairs. Watch a bit of the strongman competition they had on the TV.
Oh.
That's not important to the story. It's just what apparently the club thought people wanted to watch.
Yeah, no, that's an odd one.
So we're making fun of these strong men.
Yes.
But of course, because I'm me, the first thing I did when I walked in was just pay the cover charge and get my stamp so I could go up and see Jordan.
Of course, yes.
So anyway, that's all happening. And then they finish their game of pool, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, what do we do now? And we're like, oh, it's like 11:45. And they're like, oh, we could go down to the Heritage and do karaoke. Because they've been trying to get me to do karaoke all weekend. They kept going like, oh, because on Friday night it was karaoke at O'Dowd's.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, oh, Darcy, you like karaoke? I'm like, I do like karaoke, but I like a Guinness more.
It's true.
And then
you
on
could have
Saturday
showed off
night-
your singing.
Shut up. And then on Saturday night, so on Saturday night, they're like, oh, we could go. I'm like, they'll be closing up soon anyway. I'm like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head up and see Jordan. And then she was like, oh, yeah, I'd like to go up. And I was like, okay. And then pretty much 3 of us ended up going up there.
Okay, yeah.
So our friends who are here, they all left.
Yes.
So it's me, Jordan, because we caught up with Jordan upstairs.
Of course, yes.
This girl and another person.
Okay.
From Brisbane.
Yes.
We're the ones there. We're dancing and partying and having a good time, and everything's going fucking fantastic. And we're on the dance floor having a good time, having drinks, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
You know, as you do on a Saturday night. And then we went upstairs, because obviously on Saturday night, upstairs is open so that you can like kind of just chill out up there.
Yeah.
And we're chilling out there.
It's a bit quieter up there, more conversation.
And we're all, like, the 4 of us sitting there having a chat, talking. And then the other one from Brisbane goes, oh man, I've got a headache, I've got to go home. I'm like, oh, okay. And he took off.
Sounds like a lad.
Shut up. And so he took off. And then Jordan and me and her are there. And then, you know, all of a sudden Jordan's gone. And it's just me and her.
Again, he was being a lad.
We'll talk about that in a bit. that rolls back around on Monday.
Yes, it does.
So anyway, me and her were up there drinking, and I'm like, oh, do you wanna go back to the dance floor? So we go back to the dance floor. And we're dancing there for a little bit more, and then she's like, oh, I've got to make a phone call. I'm like, okay. So she goes off, and I'm like, yep, okay. And of course, because I am still me,
Of course.
I don't let people I'm at the club with, especially women, just disappear. So I'm like, I will move myself to somewhere where I can I'm visible and I'm out of the crowd. And, you know, we're not going to have a situation that's happened way too many times where people I'm with have been, like, spiked and stuff like that. And just don't like it. No, don't do it.
It makes sense.
Anyway, so I see her, like, she's on the phone out in that little cafe area. And I'm sitting there. And I'm a lad.
Yeah.
But I'm also hungry. So I went and got some chicken chippies.
Of course.
Not important to the story. I just want to say that I got chicken chippies.
The main part of the story is it was showing protective.
I was being protective, yes. Anyway, not really, because that's just something that I've always done, because I've always been the bigger guy.
No, again, fair.
And as I said, there's, like, I've even had issues where, like, I've been out with guys, and it's been like, shit, I kind of have to watch him, because there's someone who wants to start a fight with him. And if they catch him by himself, he's going to get beat up by, like, 6 people.
Yeah.
Whereas at least if, like, 2 of us are there, these little fuckers are going to think twice.
Well, especially if they're small.
Yeah. And, like, so, like, the 2 of us bigger lads would kind of, like, keep an eye on them and whatever. Anyway, all of that happens. I get my chicken chippies. I eat. Now, something that I was incredibly just, like, it was a very nice element of this night for me was that every time we'd move from the dance floor, I get a little bit of a little squeeze on the hand, and she'd hold my hand and, like, let me guide her. I was very smooth with that.
Oh, of course you were.
Anyway, so that happens, and eventually it's getting late. It's like, 1 in the morning, whatever. And she's like, oh, I should probably head home or I'm not going to get in tonight. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. I've got to head back there anyway. That all of my shit is still there. So anyway, we leave the club.
Hand in hand?
No.
Okay.
We walk back to our friend's house. And we knock on the door, no answer. We ring them, no answer. We ring again, no answer. We ring again, finally get an answer.
Yeah.
And they come down, let us, we come in. And then I see that not everyone, but like everyone who was staying there is out the back drinking and smoking and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, if you guys are all here, I'm going to grab another beer and come and join you.
Of course.
And The one that had a headache was there, drinking and smoking.
Without a headache, I guess.
Without a headache. Anyway.
Being a lad.
Fucking hell. Anyway, so all of that's happening, and we're all sitting there making fun, and she actually went inside and like slept on the floor for a bit while we were all outside talking. That's neither here nor there. That's just something that happened on the night.
Okay.
Anyway, and then and then it was like about 2:00, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, time to go home," and I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds good." Well, actually, they went time for bed, and I went, "Yep, time to go home." And so I grabbed all my stuff, and they're like, "Are you okay to drive?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not that drunk." In fact, I wasn't even drunk at that point. I had 2 beers in the last 3 hours. But
Yeah.
you know, the beautiful thing about Darcy is that if I stay on the beers, I'm generally not drunk.
True,
It's only
true.
when I start drinking with the Millsy and we move on to the hard stuff, and then he gives me 16 of those and I die.
Yes. Yeah, that's accurate.
Anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. Say goodbye to everyone. You know, it was a pleasure to meet you all. And she's like, "Oh, I'll walk you out to your car." And I was like, "Oh,
And here's your chance.
okay." And so we no, she still had a boyfriend. And I'm like, that's not me.
Not being the Mr. Steal Your Girl. Even though you kind of were.
Shut up. Now, anyway, so she walks me out to my car, and as we get to my car, I'm throwing all my stuff in there. I kind of turn back and can see people in the window, and
It's hilarious.
yeah, they're kind of watching us, and I got a nice goodbye hug, and all that kind of stuff. And look, as I said to Kris when he heard this story for the first time, because I was like, "I'm going to tell you so you don't hear from another one of our friends first, because that would be really bad for me, because they're going to stain it with their own evil ways."
And I can't wait to hear it.
Anyway, yeah, I know Millsy's going to hear about it from someone else first, and I do not look forward to that conversation. Anyway, so
Oh, actually, no. So now that I think about it, I'm apparently going out on Friday.
Right?
Yeah, because I didn't see Millsy's reaction.
Oh, right. So anyway, yeah, so that's all taken care of. That ends the weekend. We say goodbye. Nothing happened. Now on Sunday, we're talking about the weekends, and I kind of tell them that something happened, and I explained to them what happened, because I didn't want people who weren't there, like you and Jaden, to hear secondhand from someone else. I did mention that. I was like, if she doesn't have a boyfriend, I would have definitely been too drunk to drive home.
Of course.
That's the truth.
I get to crash on the couch.
Oh, I'll just, call a cab, I suppose.
And then order show. No, stay the night, stay, come on.
Anyway. But, so that kind of wraps up the weekend.
Yes.
Excellent. Everything's all said and done.
Of course.
No more. Until I get a message on Monday from Jordan. And Jordan, I say I get a message. I get a GIF that says, "Rolling up, stealing your girl."
Yep.
And I went, "Oh, fuck you." And then I pretty much get this whole spiel from him. On Saturday night, he was like, "Oh man, you and her were just hitting it off." So I was just like, give him some space. And I'm like, "Yeah, I figured as much." And he goes, "I didn't know she had a boyfriend at the time." I'm like, "No, neither did I."
That's it. Being a solid lad. Doing what he should have done.
Anyway, so all of that. Jordan's like, "Oh yeah, blah blah, we're talking. He's giving me the pep talk, me you should always just be yourself, because you see how good it works, and rah rah rah. Now, all of that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to kind of address why I'm so embarrassed about this whole situation, because it's not a situation where I would actually normally be embarrassed. The thing that's embarrassing to me is that everyone's like, you were trying to steal some dude's girl, and I'm like, no. I'm like, that was never my intention.
Yep.
And that's not me. But everyone's like, you dog you, and I'm like, no, it's embarrassment mixed with definitely an ego boost.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's 100% the ego boost there. But the thing is, the only reason we have ammunition is because of the embarrassment.
Yeah.
If it wasn't there, there'd be no ammunition.
The only reason I'm embarrassed, and like this comes back to something where it's like, just that's who I am as an actual person. It's like, I always say this to Kris, because Kris, you know, we are dicks to each other constantly, but we are actually good friends who have known each other for a very long time. Kris knows that the person who I am is actually quite reserved, and, you know, whilst I am a dick 90% of the time, if I'm speaking, I'm probably being a dick to you.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I'm quite reserved.
Yeah.
And I like being the center of attention for small amounts of time, and that's it. And unfortunately, this has pulled me into the center of everyone's attention, because for a lot of them, it's just a funny story because of how oblivious I was to everything that was happening.
Yep, that's the main reason.
Yeah. So that's where a lot of the kind of my attitude comes from. There is definitely a little bit of chuffness in there.
Of course.
But there is also just a lot of, please stop looking at me and leave me alone. Yeah.
Hence the constant shut up that I've been getting since Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, that's what happened to me this weekend, and I guess that kind of wraps us up. We have been going for quite a while.
Yes.
So that's going to wrap up the podcast. As always, if you have liked, consider liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing. If you want to see more from me and Kris, we have a whole channel full of crazy things like Helldivers, Minecraft.
Both come out this week. Go watch them.
Bunny Man. But Minecraft's been coming out for a couple of weeks now.
No, but I mean episodes of them coming out this week.
And a whole lot of stuff where me and Kris are mean to each other. Mainly I'm mean to Kris, but if you see any of our videos that are pretty much filmed from this point for the next 2 weeks, you'll know, because Kris will have something over me. And he's very, very happy about that. But once again, guys, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed, and we will catch you next time. See you later.
So yeah.
I've also messaged her since she left.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Is that one moment?
It's medium lemon.
It's medium lemon.
It's not cold, nor is it hot. It's just kind of in the middle. It's just...
Okay. Room temperature yet? Little above, fuck.
It's just like tongue temperature lemon.
Tongue temperature?
Hmm.
Wouldn't that
So you put your tongue into it.
Yeah.
And you go like, oh, it feels like the same as my tongue. Like, it's not cold. Like when you put your tongue into something cold, and you go, oh, that's cold. It's not hot. Like when you put your tongue into something hot, you go, oh, that's hot. So you put your tongue to it, and you go, oh, that's about the same as my tongue, only lemon.
So it's a little above room temperature.
No, because my tongue's not room temperature.
That's what I'm saying. It's a little above room temperature because your tongue generally wouldn't be cooler than room temperature.
Oh, my tongue's cooler than room temperature.
Why?
Covered in saliva, mate. The wet stickiness.
Well, that's one way to describe it.
I wish I knew. But yeah, so you're like, you know, you're drinking the lemon, you go, it's like my tongue, but lemon.
I've never thought to ever describe anything like, it's like my tongue, but insert other descriptive words.
That's how I describe other people's tongues. It's like my tongue, but in your mouth.
I mean, look, okay, fair enough. That makes sense, though.
There's
we're talking
a
about a
method to my
tongue
madness.
there. God damn it.
It's like an ox tongue, but it's slapping you around the head.
Okay.
That's getting slapped by an ox tongue.
Yeah, no, I figured that's what it was.
Ever been slapped by an ox tongue? It's not pleasant.
Have you?
No. But I can tell you it's not pleasant.
Well, it doesn't sound pleasant.
Because you go to the butcher, you get an ox tongue, you find someone, you slap them on the head with it, you say, is that pleasant? They go, no. You go, didn't think so. But now I know.
Thank you.
And that's how
I need to go slap someone else with an ox tongue. Why?
Science.
Science. You never stop at one.
I'm going to need a much larger set of data for this.
Then you end up going to 100 different people, slapping all with an ox tongue, and one person goes, please, again.
You're standing on main uni walk, and as people walk by, say, excuse me. And they go, and why would you do that? Science. Was that pleasant? No. I wish I knew which button to push. Then I'd know how to please you.
Okay. But no, that's that'd be fun to do.
I do a lot of stuff that's fun.
Would you do it with like just?
I also do a lot of stuff that's just insane.
I'm aware.
I also do a lot of stuff that's not fun.
True.
You ever just sat there with like 45 kilos in a dumbbell on your chest because you're like, I can do this, and you could do it, but then after doing your exercise, you realize you no longer have the strength to move it off, so you just lie there with it on your chest for a bit, going like a turtle, being like, until someone comes and rescues you.
No. Was it Shane?
No, it was Jordan. He just pushed the weight off me so I could stand up.
I'm assuming it was one Sunday.
Yeah, you were there as well. You were helping Eliza with her hip thrusters, and I was lying there doing hip thrusters with the 45 kilos.
Yeah.
But then when I was done with it, it rolled up my chest. I couldn't move it. So I was lying there, and Jordan's like, do you need help? I'm like,
please.
And so he rolled it off me, and then once he rolled off me, I stood up and picked it up and walked it over. But while I was lying on the floor with it on top of me, I was like,
I can't do anything. Please help. I'm a turtle.
Darcy, I never knew you were a ninja turtle. I'm not, I'm just a normal turtle.
See, I don't have a weapon. Only a weight that I can't currently lift.
I am a weapon.
Oh, shit.
I know what you're thinking, Kris. Aren't all monkeys dyslexic? No, they just don't try hard enough.
I wasn't actually going to say that.
You were going to say they don't try hard enough.
No. Wasn't actually going back to the monkey thing.
Is it true that monkeys just don't try hard enough and that's why they're bad at spelling? Yes.
Well, fair enough. That could be said.
Yeah, just was.
Yeah, I know.
I'm on top of this shit.
Fuck. It's probably already been said before.
I don't know. Like, there's this whole thing of, like, if you say something, it's probably been thought by someone before. But I leave a lot of loose ends in my thoughts that then I just tie together to try and make two things that have nothing to do with each other connect.
Well, yeah.
And I'm not
aware.
100% sure that anyone has ever said exactly what I've said before.
Well, no, you
or
can't
even
be too...
put forward the same similar concepts to some of the stuff I've said before.
Well, no, you can never be 100% sure on that. But there is always a chance.
There's always a chance.
Yes. Then again...
Well, no, I just was, what I was going to say then is, wouldn't it be funny if someone like Pythagoras thought exactly the same as me? Someone who people are like, this guy was a fucking genius, and you're just a crazy person. And then it's like, no, he was saying the same shit. When he wasn't talking about triangles, he was sitting there saying, I don't think monkeys try hard enough.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did.
Hmm?
Yeah, they're sitting there drawing squares, being like, we don't understand how these triangles work. And he's just like, just remove a side! Remove one of them!
I've removed a side, but it still doesn't work!
I've removed a side. It's a box.
It's a box.
Without
But
a
it's
lid.
open.
Pythagoras just like, triangle, 3 lines, all touching. These are all touching. Like, that's you morons.
Oh, these motherfuckers. They're gonna be the end of me.
That's what I want everyone to take away from working with me. Not what Pythagoras' theorem is, that Pythagoras invented triangles.
That he invented triangles.
Not that he came up with a like mathematical equation for figuring out right angle triangles.
Yes.
Like the length of a right angle triangle. No, that he invented triangles just in general. Up until then, people have been like, okay, we've got circles, we've got squares.
Hey, what's
We've
this show? Fuck you, throw it out.
We've got pentagons hexagons, septagons, octagons. Do we have something that's between circle and square? We don't talk about that.
We have a line. A straight line, not a circle.
You can put two lines together, you get a corner. What if we put another line? Don't you dare!
Don't even think of
And then
those
Pythagoras
things.
was just rocked up one day and was like sitting there, putting his square together and just knocked it and went, triangle.
Oh.
I shall call this a Pythagorean.
Well, maybe.
And then he
maybe
and then
triangle because he was trying to put up the square and then he failed. Then he saw an angle and was like, oh, triangle.
Or he was sitting there and went, I should call this a Pythagorean. And his drunk mate was like, you should just call it triangle, man. It's 3, try. There's angles. Triangle.
Oh my god.
He was like,
genius.
oh my god.
I have to kill him now.
And then he pushed him into the ocean. It was my invention all along. You see?
You see, there's no one to say any different. I can swim, you know.
Oh, he probably couldn't though.
That's true.
Class was the worst.